Hi, my name is Rishab and I'd like to keep the introduction as I am an Indian and India is my identity. But I run this small organization called IIMUN, which works in 220 cities and 35 countries with the message of getting young people to understand more about India and the world. That's what I do. Kindness for me, it can be associated with India, which is what I spoke about. I think India is a country which is full of kindness. If you see the great saints that our land has produced, whether it be Gautam Buddha or whether it be Lord Mahavir, whether it be people such as Daaji that our country has produced. So kindness for me is our country, because our country essentially is filled with people who are sweet, humble and welcoming. And if I may, a great example of kindness or a great example of humility for me always has been this, that the Parsis as a community came to Gujarat and they met the king out there. And the king basically took a glass of milk and he said that, our country is already overfilled with people, we can't take more people. And then the person who was representing the Parsis took, if I'm not wrong, some sugar and added in the milk. And he said that, look, your country is full of people, but we're only here in order to add kindness and sweetness. And that's the same thing that the country represents for me. It's full of kindness and sweetness, such as Parsis, such as the Gujaratis, such as Daaji and Heartfulness. The experience that I've had of this entire place, it's magnanimous. Like, we've been doing IIM1 for 10 years. We've hosted numerous concourses across with large number of students. But the size, the volume, the fact that you guys have put together all of this, and the best part about all of this is that it's all young people who are volunteers. I met somebody who works at Truecaller and somebody who runs a paper mill, and yet everyone's coming back and so selflessly trying to give back to people. So I think that was my biggest takeaway: how to be selfless, how to be kind, and I'm looking forward to my interaction with Daaji. I think it's very important. I think what you've done with the International Youth Seminar, and if I may, just for a second, sound a little self-pompous, but there was an African who passed by, and he went through, and I'm always politically wrong, so forgive me if I'm going politically incorrect, but he passed by and he said, I really liked your speech. And obviously he was the only one who heard my speech and probably liked it, but this fellow basically liked the fact that I said that you can unite the world the Indian way through heartfulness and kindness by spreading the idea of India. And he does not come from our country. An international youth conference in different parts of the world, not just here, what you're doing, sensitizing them to heartfulness, to kindness, to India, I think you're doing a great service to mankind and humanity as a whole. So many congratulations. But I'll tell you, we were starting IIM1 and this was 2011. This was a personal experience, and I don't come from a background where essentially we have a lot of connect with a lot of people, right? So in our business, of course, but outside we don't. So when we're doing this first conference, I remember very vividly that, just how you have Ricky today out here. The first time I went up to this gentleman in a club in Willington in Bombay, and he was walking past and I said, sir, I really admire you and I really want you to come for this youth conference that I'm doing. And he looked at me. I was about 16 years old. See, I was about 19, I think, not 16. There was a girl with me who was 16. And he looked at me. I was even more frail than what I am today, and with a funny hairstyle back then. And he said, but explain me, what is the purpose of this? And I said, I want to unite the world the Indian way. And then he asked me, saying, do you understand what you're saying? And I said, sir, I don't understand much of what I'm saying. Then he started laughing and he said, but I'll come because you're a young boy trying to do something. The name of this guy was Shamak Dawar. And Shamak, of course, is a legend in Bollywood and in dance. Shamak, a few of the others, and this act of kindness to a person who's unknown, who's trying to do something, is something I'll forever remember. I'm young enough in order to take a message, so I can't give a message, but what I would definitely say in terms of meditation, it's been 10 years at the organization that I run, and one thing that all the 20,000 plus kids who worked at IIM1, one thing that we've done in commonality over the last decade is the fact that we've asked them to meditate for the first 10 minutes, wherever they are, whether in Hyderabad, Bombay, in Kolkata, in Japan, anywhere across the world. So I think meditation is a big thing. I learned it from my grandfather, who said, Rishab, you have the most non-linear thought. You can't think at one point, you can't focus on one point at one point for one thing. So he said, meditate and you'll become better. And from that point in time, I think I've tried to pass on this message of meditation, saying it's very, very important. And meditation with kindness, I think it's just a synonym, because when you meditate, you realize how little you are in this entire big world. And then you kind of realize that humility, kindness and things like that are things that should be second nature to you. And I think to all the young people out there, if I could say one thing, we have a lot of people that we look up to today. And today I saw a fantastic guy like Ricky and, like I spoke about Shamak and a few people like this. One needs to be careful while choosing who to look up to. And as a young population of 600 million young people, if we choose our role models right, if we choose the Rahul Dravids and the Daajis and the Ratan Tatas carefully, I think we'll have a young population that can be a great dividend to this country and the world.